You always said you don't have enough time. You always said you don't have enough money. You always said you don't have the love that you really desire. Well, you need to think about who you really are.
Good morning, everybody. Nick Camarda right here, right now in the present help now. Welcome back, everybody. Another amazing episodes with a special guest. I can't wait to introduce you. Her career is amazing. I started reading a little bit. There were so many things to read, and it was like, this is too much. I just want to introduce Josselyne Herman-Saccio. Welcome in.
Thank you so much
And
for having me, Nick.
yes. What a beautiful, and we're live and will be recorded. So your amazing orange dress with all the flowers. This is powerful. This is very beautiful.
Orange is my color. That's why I'm coveting your chair.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Um, yeah, a crazy time, crazy week. The last news and like 5 minutes ago, my company just got like a $20 million job, and I'm
Wow,
really going crazy. That's why I'm not home. I'm still in the office, still working a little bit late this today, but it's exciting, it's fascinating, and I
very.
can't wait to get home down. But let's delve into, we don't have a specific topic for this episode because I don't want that in different direction. I want a simple and fun, talk. Let's talk about. So your recent, the most recent career that you do, and maybe a topic of this is how journey just come up, how the journey can be different for each person. And your recent, journey career is to helping people fulfill their dream. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually been something I've been doing for 30 years in different forms. But my
Oh,
latest iteration is a, one-on-one and group coaching business with online courses and offerings so I can get out to more people. Because for 30 years, I did coaching and empowerment of people in transformative programs, but mostly they were with a company that you had to be in a course of that company's to have access to me. And now anybody can have access to me. So it's kind of exciting.
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. So there's always a common nature between a person and their inner side. So there's always something in common that everybody shares. No matter what job you do, there's always like a common sense. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, like a sense of oneness. Are you talking about like that non-dual space of energy?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Exactly that. So tell a little bit more to everybody how you started a career, a little bit of your story, so we can
Sure.
connect a little bit of that.
Yeah, I've been involved in transformative work since I was 11 years old, believe it or not. I know that's a long time. It's going to be 45 years this year. It's insane. That's like probably double your age or something, it's like I could be your mother. But when I was 11, my parents were going to get divorced and they were separated. And my mother did a transformative workshop. At that time, it was called the EST training. And that was
Okay.
back in the 70s. And then about a year later, my father did it and they got back together
Oh
and they
wow.
just celebrated 65 years together, which is really a miracle in any situation, but especially given they were going to get divorced. So for me, at 11, I was like, whatever you did, I want to do it. And they had a kids version, so I did it. And
Okay.
at the time, I was just a kid, so it wasn't like I was like, oh, transformation. I just noticed that things didn't bother me as much. And, when I would fail at something, it didn't stop me. Like before I did it, I would get stopped. I mean, I remember I was like 10 years old and I loved tennis, so I would play tennis every day at this club, this like tennis class club. And one of the girls in my school who was very athletic, I was not very athletic. I just loved tennis. She started playing at the club. And the day I saw her there, I was like, I will never be as athletic as Hillary Adler. So I am just not going to play anymore. So I gave up tennis.
You give up.
And yeah, and that was before I had participated in transformative work. And so after I did transformative work, I noticed I didn't get stopped anymore. Like I tried out for the girls basketball team, didn't make it on, kept playing basketball every day, found a boys team to play on, and then the next year got put on the team without even trying out. So that whole idea of being unmessable with and unstoppable started way back then. But, we all have limiting beliefs. And one of my dreams was to be a singer, but I just figured you can't do that as your career. You can't do your art as your career. And I thought that was the truth, and everybody would agree with me. And I had a lot of starving artist friends. So I didn't want to be a starving artist. And I was, pretty successful at a young age. At 18, I was running a company and all of that. And then I was in another transformative workshop. And I realized that that whole notion of you can't do your art as your career, maybe that wasn't true. Like maybe it was something I came up with at like 5 years old, which is basically when I started telling myself that, and it got loose, it stopped being so solid like a lid, and it just became sort of porous or malleable.
Flexible.
And within 3 months of that, I got a record deal.
Wow.
And that record, 3 months, and that record ended up going #1. So that was like the beginning of, okay, I have to make my life about people having their dreams fulfilled, because if I could fulfill that dream, which I thought was impossible, then people can fulfill their dreams. So I started leading transformative workshops, and I started my company to empower actors and performers to fulfill their dreams. And that was sort of the beginning of me making my whole life about people living their dreams, not just dreaming them.
Yeah. This is so powerful. I hear like in the small part of your story, it was like I hear so much powerful things like paradigms, when you get stuck, be unstoppable and transforming version and dreams. So what's like you start very young and thanks to your parents, but when is the best time to start a journey of transforming it, like or a transforming event? What you think could be a good way to start?
Well, the best time is right now, because that's the only time, So whatever right now is for people, this is it. I mean, there's no someday. That's part of the work I do with people, is disappearing the notion of someday, and the best route, there's so many routes. I don't know. It really depends on the person. Some people are more kind of group kind of people. They want to do things in groups like courses. Some people are a little bit more one-on-one. They want to work, or smaller groups. So it really depends. I don't think that transformation is available through reading a book. I think
Okay.
that's a little bit like, you can have insights, but I have not found a book that transformed my, life. I've had many books that made a huge difference in my life. I mean, countless books that made a difference in my life. But as far as transformation is concerned, I think it's a live phenomenon that happens between people, like in a moment.
Yeah. Would you think that people transform other people?
I do. I think that's a good way of saying it. I really do. I think that a conversation between
Yes.
people can
Yes.
transform what's possible for people. At least that's what I've discovered in my 9 million years of doing this.
Yes, definitely. In terms of paradigms, you were stuck with that mind of dreams cannot be your career, and but now you find that it's not actually true. I found actually extremely powerful when you realize when I realized like, well, actually I realized connecting with faith, the term of faith. What's faith? Faith is just a repetition of things that become almost a belief. It's very close. It's a very thin line. It's like, okay, so if I start repeating something that I want, this doesn't make my new belief. And then I started studying, about Proctor with the paradigms and all that kind of fascinating things. And as I realized that we can definitely build our own circuit, our own brain
You
wiring.
can retrain your brain. You can.
The fascinating concept. So how you work with paradigms, how you change people perspective.
Well, it depends on the person, but it's through a conversation. So when I work with anybody one-on-one or even in a group, it's questions, it's inquiry into, what is it, first of all, what is it that you want? What are your dreams and goals? And some people don't have those readily available to them because they're so busy dealing with life and getting things done. They have no space to look up and out and have vision for what they really want. So sometimes that's the first thing I need to do is pry them out of the get stuff done mode and up and out into like their vision for their family or their vision for their career or whatever it is, their health and well-being, whatever area of life really matters to them. And then after we get clarification over what someone really wants, we look at, okay, where'd that come from? Is that like a want you want because someone told you should want it? Or because society told you, or you saw a movie when you were 7 and that's what you think relationships should be like, or did you really author that dream? So we look at that. And then once we kind of sort the whole thing out and get people out of their default dreams into their created dreams, we then look at, okay, what messes with you? Because, my whole work is called the art of being unmessable with. So I say, okay, what messes with you in fulfilling those dreams? What is it that stops you or thwarts you or, sends you down for the count and not in action? So we examine all of that and get that all driven up so that we can deal with and dismantle everything that messes with them and create strategies to move from that world of being messable with and reactivated to the world of creation and vision and action from your creation and your vision.
And attraction, because then automatically all around you will start to changing. You said a beautiful word, that's clarification. This is very, very powerful because it's hard to compete with somehow society or how we live life. It create mess. It's like
Yes.
it's almost like social media. In 3 seconds you're around the world, so you can be stuck there for an hour looking for nothing.
Right.
That's a clear example. So clarification, it's beautiful because sometimes even the hard part to achieve.
It's true. And most people are not clear. I mean, some people are pretty clear, but they're driven clear, like fixated, which is very different than creating clarification, like taking the fog out of the way so that you can see clearly what really moves you, what inspires you. Like, you're here for a reason on this planet. You're not just a throwaway. So there's some purpose or some dream to fulfill. And most people go to the grave not having fulfilled it. In fact, I read a statistic, I couldn't believe it, but it's 98% of people go to the grave with their dreams intact.
Goodness, what a wasted life! What a
It,
wasted precious life!
and it doesn't mean they didn't accomplish a lot. I mean, listen, there are people who are very successful that never fulfill their dream. They're just really good at reacting to life and getting stuff done. And any successful person is good at that. But that muscle of reaction is very, very different than the muscle of creation.
Wow, yes, that's right. So you're trying to say that to make understanding to me, I'm a little bit
Yeah, you're a
slow
little bit
learning.
Italian.
I'm too Italian. I gotta understand here.
I know, but I talk
It's
with my hands, so we're very Italian
Oh
together. There
yeah,
you
yeah,
go.
yeah. No, that's the best way to understand that. It's like instead of react to the world, you're not proactive changing, like almost decided what you want to do instead of see what's happening and go with it. It's almost a theory that I like to explain when you react from the inside out instead of from the outside.
That's great.
inside.
Yeah, sure. I think that's a good way of saying it. I mean, but it's not like a bad thing to react. I mean, like when we first started talking today, you said something really great happened at your job, right? And you got this big deal. Okay, that's now coming at you. At one point, you might have been creating it, but now it's coming at you and you have to deal with that thing. And so
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it's like you need to react and and control and manage and fix and all that, which puts you in a certain mode, which is very different than the mode of creation and vision. It's now you got to manage.
Yes, got it. Well, exactly was it's yeah, exactly 20 minutes ago. It's like, oh my God, we're some panic mode because now we got to hire another two project manager and we need more help in design and start to create all that kind of
Exactly, and
a
now you're
reaction
reacting.
chain. Yes,
Exactly.
yes,
Yeah, no,
that's
that's
it's
and that's
beautiful.
what I do with people is I get them out of reaction and get them into creation. Even when they're having to manage something, it's different when you manage from a world of creation than manage from getting stuff done and surviving and making sure you don't mess up and da 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 da, da and all that stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How time can help with that, and I express better myself because what my boss said. Okay, it's Friday. Let's take the week. Let's sleep on it. It's very word. It's let's sleep on it. How time can help to escape from that reaction mode.
I don't think time is related to getting out of that world because if you don't have the methodology to get out of that world, time just gets you deeper and deeper into that world. And then you're
Yeah,
reacting to your own reactions. So you have a panic
it's
moment
worse.
and now you're trying to fix that you panicked and go meditate to try and be calmer about this great. I mean, it's just over and over layers of mud on top of layers of mud. So I don't think time is really the answer. Muscle is the answer. Muscle in being able to shift from that mode, see it, separate
Recognize
from it,
it.
and then create something new.
That's important. I like that. I like that. I never thought about this. What's for the podcast is what's happened today and trying to make for normal people. What's the best way to approach this? So what's a quick an easy way to start realizing that and change it? Like how a person can quickly have a little bit of input to escape from that reaction mode.
Well, first you have to be able to notice it, and I think that you won't notice it unless you have a commitment bigger than it. So if you have a commitment to or a dream to have a fulfilling family or
Mhm.
whatever it is, a fulfilling career, whatever your dream is, that dream's got to be the context in which the reactions show up. So what do I mean by that? The context is always decisive, and I'll demonstrate it, but in the context number, what is this? In the
It's number
context
one.
number, it's a one. It's not
Yes,
complicated, right? And in the context body part, what is it?
the finger
And in the context direction,
pointing up.
up.
Yeah.
So but notice nothing in reality has changed.
Oh yeah.
The only thing that's altered is the context, and the context decides how the content shows up. So now bring it to your everyday life. Here you have this deal that just came in, right?
Yes.
That's content. That's this. How that shows up for you is going to be given by the context that you're functioning in. And the context, by the way, is always in language, it's in words. So it's malleable, it's transformable, you know? So if it's inside of the context, oh, shoot, now we got to hire all these people. This is a problem. Everything's going to be colored by that context. And you're going to be now trying to find solutions for this problem, blah, 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 blah. Or if it's inside of the context, like this is the biggest deal we've ever had, and we better not mess it up. Now it's everything's going to be colored by
Yeah.
that lens.
Anxiety and
So, and that's by default. It's not like you're creating that context. It just kind of gloms on you know? So you have to be able to identify context to be able to put it to the side and create new context.
okay. Okay. That's
Because I mean, if
that's
your mother is annoying, if the context for your mother that you have is annoying, everything she does is going to annoy you. You know, she'll
Yeah.
say, why aren't you wearing a sweater? And don't tell me what to do, blah, 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 blah. But if the context you hold for your mother is she loves you, then anything she does is an expression of love, and annoyance doesn't even come into the picture. Capiche?
Yes, now capiche.
Yes.
Um, that's fascinating. Actually, it's very important how easily we get caught up in some old, even every time I come trying to come back to my mom, to Italy, and see my mom, it doesn't pass a week, and then we got upset to each other because the first moment we miss each other. It's been a year or so long, and we love, but then it start to come back the same, and it's like, oh, it's mom, of course, and there are always some kind of things. It's fascinating then you reflect, but then I say, well, I don't know when the next time I get to see her. So I kind of changed that. And it's like, I love this, that she's
Yeah.
upsetting me about something. And now I don't remember exactly, but it was an amazing reflection. And now I'm looking like, I think I will miss this when she, yelling at me or she's telling me something,
Of
because
course
that's
you will.
well, that's Italian moms too, so that's
That's
pretty
right.
intense. Um, this is awesome. This is very, very awesome. And what could be something that normal people that in their everyday life, like how to escape from the routine, because we wake up in the same way, we brush our teeth with the same hand, how we can try to, get in that mode, even if we
Mode
don't
of
have a
creation.
problem, even if, like, what could be a quick step that everybody, other than realize, what could be in that, like,
I'll tell you,
very,
I have a great little thing I tell people to do, right? I have a whole workshop about it. It's called the calendar workshop. But what you can do is in your calendar, whatever you have scheduled, let's say you have working out scheduled, right? Before working out, create a context. Create, why are you working out? What am I creating? So instead of working out, you say creating vitality slash working out. You're checking emails. You have that in your calendar. Done kind of context, or do it because it's on your calendar, you're creating the why for everything you do. And that is a muscle that you can start building today with every calendar event in your schedule.
that's a very quick, easy step that everybody can do. Like,
Everybody.
and it can start to make spread some awareness, make people like, okay, why am I really doing that?
Yeah, why am I
It's
having dinner with
powerful.
these people? It's like, oh, creating intimacy. Okay. Or creating friendship. Or what are you creating? So this again, it's like a brain pattern hack. You're hacking your brain of just going through life, ordinary moment to moment, to actually creating every moment. Because if you're going to go have dinner with your wife tonight, which you probably are, right? You're going to have dinner and you always do, and that's the way it is. It'll just be like the way things are. But if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
go
yeah.
into it, create romance, that's a different dinner.
And the whole energy change.
Totally, because the context changed. So now you don't have a
Yes,
finger, you
yes.
have an up.
This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Well, every time I'm trying to have a dinner with my wife, I automatically almost somehow it's beautiful that now that you're telling me, somehow I automatically try to do that because I believe a lot in energy. Like the energy, it's what make everything clear. Like how dogs see it's almost dogs see through the smells more than through their eyes. So the same way, how we start to see people, it's more from their energy. I don't know if ever happened to you, but sometimes people say, "Oh, I never met this person, but I really hate it, or I really loved it." Like the same energy that when we were first talking was like, "Oh, this woman is amazing." I don't know because it's it's an energy level, and from a quantum level there's no space and time. There's no way that even if we were far away from each other, I still can get your energy and feel about it. So the ability to process the simple example that you give us, I think, help to set our energy in a different perspective, to set
Which
ourselves.
then impacts their energy, because if you think about yourself as a space instead of a thing, like a person, you're a space, an energetic space, as you going on what you're saying. So the space you are, people show up inside of that space. There's no your wife, there's your wife inside of the space that you are. So if
Yes,
your energy is romance or whatever, or if your energy is irritation, let's just put it that way. If you're
that's what, yeah.
irritated or stressed out, she's going to show up in that color.
Exactly. That this is amazing. I keep saying amazing, but I'm like fascinating how you can actually see how everything works in easy way. It makes sense at this point.
It is
So
simple, but it's not
exactly.
natural. And it takes building muscle. I mean, I have been, for 45 years building these muscles, but at the same time, it's accessible to people. It's totally accessible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm very young, but I want to ask you a question a little bit more of what you think on a micro scales. What you think our microenvironment, what we can control is okay with my wife, with my kids, co-workers, and all that kind of environment. But what you think about on a micro scale? So our society, how we can interact with that, what's the direction? What do you think about that kind of area?
I think you have access to altering that too. I think through conversation. Again, this is why I think transformation doesn't happen in a book for the most part. And I could be wrong. Maybe there's books out there that are transformative. I just haven't found them. But, through conversation, and, you have this podcast, and this conversation could impact people. I mean, my intention is that it does, so that they start to be aware and conscious of the energy that they're creating, and the words they're using, and the context that they're living inside of, and not being limited to their default context. And if you have enough people in a conversation for what's possible, reality shifts.
Yes, yes. But we're still in a society that in my opinion, will feel more following this routine, this dream, this social media, this like almost a fake reality that we're trying to create behind, and almost put us far away from who we really are. How
I'm
we
with you.
can how we can try to get there, try to all other spread awareness and share this video and this podcast and try to make spread awareness. What could be more powerful? Like what can we do more?
Well, it's all going to be conversation. So the more people you can get in the conversation that you're creating,
Yeah.
then and you have unlimited access because of social media. So although social media disconnects us and all that stuff, it also is a very powerful tool to impact life for everyone, because so few people aren't exposed to it, so really you can access through the internet in ways that were never available 30 years ago, or 20 years, or even 10 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
you know when I was growing up, you had to actually talk to people. you know
You don't have just text tech or stuff like that.
exactly. I don't even talk to my children, they just text me.
That's beautiful. Do you have children, you said? So how
I have
many
three
children?
children.
Three children. And they're all
Yeah,
boys like my mom?
I have a boy. I do.
Okay,
And then
okay.
I have two girls and a boy.
Okay, you're lucky. My poor mom had three boys, and I'm the middle one, so I'm crazy one, and I have to move 8,000 miles away from my family and do all crazy stuff. But that's talking on parenting and how we can, I'm trying to get a family as soon as possible because I love kids, love family, and growing all that. How we can how can prepare myself and how can prepare the new generation. Every generation is complaining about the following generation, but how we can prepare the new generation to the world and the best way to prepare them to the world.
Well, first of all, I would prepare yourselves for being parents because most people don't. And they just, again, context is decisive. So if you're a couple, most couples aren't even a couple, they're an individual and an individual in a relationship, which right away is not going to be sustainable
It's a
because,
no-go right there.
yeah, exactly. But if you are a couple and you've created the context of relationship that you exist inside of, so you're looking from, okay, what works for the relationship, not what works for me in the relationship. So, because I coach a lot of people on their relationships, that's very powerful. However, most relationships then bring in a child and they don't create a bigger context for the child to exist inside of. So the
Mm,
child ends up being an interruption in their relationship.
okay. So they just go, they follow what's happening instead of creating. That come back to the same exactly.
Same exact thing. It's just they're going through life and they think they want a kid, so they're going to have a kid. Listen, oh, the kid will make us stronger. Yeah, good luck. Okay, the
I
kid
saw
is
a
going to
baby
be.
on TikTok and now they want a baby.
It's
I heard that. I heard that.
It's just,
That's
I mean, I wanted babies since I was 5. I mean, sure, it's like a fantasy that people grow up inside of. But as a couple, you need to reconstitute the context in which you are to family
hmm
before you have children, because then the children show up inside of that bigger context. So it's kind of like the foundation for a house, right? Because you do building, don't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So if you have a foundation that's this big, you're not going to be able to build a very big structure. So you
yeah.
have to expand the foundation to build a bigger house. And that's what a family is. You're building a bigger structure. So I think that's the most important thing for couples to keep in
Yeah.
mind. Otherwise, the baby becomes an interruption, something to be jealous of, something that's taking away time from the couple or the individual or whatever it is. So it's important to have a firm foundation as a family, which is created.
Create that foundation, expand. Like I like the word that you say, expanding the foundation. So then you can add. In
That's right.
construction, it's a basing. We do a lot of renovation, and we need a lot of expand the foundation, or restructure, rebust the structure. So
Yeah.
create adding more woods on the beams, for example, on the structure of all that. That's it's fascinating how you can connect with that. That means you guys have conversation to create more structure.
That's right. You're going to architect a new foundation. Or, if all of us, you have one bathroom, you have a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom house, but all of a sudden you want a 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom house,
Yeah.
you better do some planning.
Yes, yes, yes. I need to talk to my wife. No,
I could talk to
that's
her
cool.
now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, it's beautiful. I'm very grateful to have a wife that it's very very connect with me and that this level. So and then coming back on what you're saying about the couple. So how is important to have the same level of growth in the two in two people in the relationship.
Well, no, it's not, because that's looking at it as two individuals trying to keep up with each other. If you create a bigger context, then it's not about keeping it even. Then you're
Awesome.
both in the
Yes.
same space. It's a big enough space for people to grow at whatever pace.
I love that because I did coaching on a couple and they were stuck on the idea that everybody needs to grow on the same level. And it was like, hang on a second. So in splitting, the couple and the individual, there's three elements right now, and not just two or not just one. So the idea is grow yourself the pace that you want to do, grow the other part of the relationship can grow as much as you want, but then what you bring to the table for the couple and how the couple is growing.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
That was fascinating, and I'm happy you said it because now I'm like, it was correct. It was
Yeah, there you
good.
go. Now you got language for it.
Yes, because sometimes we just it become more a competition.
Yeah, which is, again, two individuals in a relationship instead of you as a couple. See, I don't like people say to me, how's your husband? I'm like, I don't, I am my husband. It's like, what do you mean, how is he? Like, I guess I could ask him, but we are not connected. We are the same energetic space inside of that context.
Different people with a different energy, and this is fascinating how it's hard for some people to understand that energy and body energy, they're two different things. So some people, I like sports car in my life. My wife doesn't like sports car. She loves go, looking hearts and buy stuff on Amazon. But the energy, it's a different thing. The energy of what's vibrating you, what kind of frequency you're emanating. And this can be a match. And actually, the highest energy that you guys can combine, or the one can bring up or down, this is how beautiful the relation become. This is
Yeah.
why I'm very grateful for my wife, because she'll be able to pick me up when I'm down, and I
Yeah,
can pick her up when she's down.
exactly. That's being one. It's not like you or me. It's not even you and me. It's like you, me, you know?
Yumi, yes, I love that. Um, this is beautiful. This is amazing. I can't wait. I want to replay everything and re-listen and take more notes. How people can connect with you, because I know I look a little bit around your website. You have a beautiful website, and the
Thanks.
the best part of your website, there's a lot of words that telling dream. There's dream, dream, dream words everywhere. It's like visually, I'm a very visual person, so visually it's amazing because you help people fulfill their dreams in a way that's it's not just a dream that, and correct me if I'm wrong, it just I want a new car and you make a new car happen. No,
Right.
you go deep in what's dream means to people and then make it happen, right?
Yeah, I go to what I call your dream source. So, what is the source of your dreams? Not what are your goals? People, to produce goals, you got to take actions. And I coach people in that also. But why are you even into that goal?
Hmm.
So I get behind what that is, which is much more of a spatial conversation. Like, if you accomplished everything that you want to accomplish, then what would be possible? So I walk people through what I call a dream source discovery process, where they get who they really are, like what they're really here to fulfill on, and then they have that as a context that they can then fulfill any goals that they have inside of. So there's ways to do that. I mean, obviously I do one-on-one coaching, I do group coaching, but there's also just very, simple. I have simple offerings on my website that you can do with a 5-day process, and things that you can do even guided by yourself, not working directly with me, but working
Hmm.
with me on video. So it's all at theartofbeingunmessableWith.com, which is my website. And there's lots of ways to work with me: free ways, inexpensive ways, more expensive ways. So hopefully accessible for everybody.
How powerful to be unmessable. This is awesome. This is awesome. The word I'm messable. It's nobody can stop you there. Nobody
That's
wants to
right.
mess with you.
It's not about having perfect circumstances, because life happens. It's about who you are in the face of real life. When your mother has a stroke, or, when as a couple you have a miscarriage, or whatever happens, you can, no matter what circumstance, no matter who you're with, able to stay true to your vision, is what I mean by being unmessable with. It doesn't mean being tough, or
Hmm.
callous or numb to your feelings. It's about being someone who's like a force of nature, fulfilling on vision, no matter what happens.
Driven. It's not, yeah, that's right, because a lot of people think that the secret to always be happy and always be positive. There's a lot of people that are always talking about this. It's like, no, you always gotta be happy. This is the secret recipe. No, life it's not happy or bad. It's like it's an up and down. The important thing is not be happy or be sad. To be in the middle, in the meaning. What's in the middle? It's the mean. What's really is be alive. So achieve the downside and learn from that and go up. And most probably when you're in the peak there, something will happen, it will bring you down, and when you're down, you'll go up. And that's the best part. Trying to drive in those moments. Like a year ago was a totally different scenario for me. I didn't have this job. I was in another state, and I was looking, I was searching, and I was trying, experimenting on myself. It was different from now than how I'm have a job, and I'm trying to do other stuff and fulfilling
Right.
other stuff. It's fascinating. In there is a word that I don't think it's true. I want your input in that. And it can never be worse than that. What do you think about the word that most people say, and I heard recently, it can be worse than that. Can be worse than that, or what's the best way to, overwhelm that?
You mean when people say it could be worse? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes,
Yeah. Well, it could. So, okay.
exactly.
So, it could always be worse. It could always be better. It could always be worse. That's all just chatter about what's happening. I think the most powerful way to deal with what's happening is actually relate to it as what it is versus it's good, it's bad, it's right, it's wrong, it's better or worse. That's all stuff we add to what's happening. There's no worse or better in reality. There's just what's happening.
Good or bad is something that we come up with. We decided to call good or bad
That's right.
because then society can function. This is good, this is bad. We
At
can
least this
decide it.
version of society, but I think Shakespeare has a quote that is, I'll misquote him, but it's something like, "There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so."
Oh, I like that. I gotta
Mm.
research that now. This is this is
Let me know if you
awesome.
find it. I'm pretty sure that's close to it.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's the best part. Um, this is amazing. This is unbelievable. Thanks a lot for your time to share here. Um,
My
I
pleasure.
will
Thanks for having me.
I will put your website down below. You guys can click it, go take a peek in there. It's fascinating. It's beautiful. And the goal here is it's all the same. It's one person from all this conversation have an input, have an idea, have a different approach. I love your way to put an account in there, like and have some meaning on things that we do every day. This is powerful, and I want to experiment that too, so I
Good,
can
good.
I can do it too. Like
Let me know what you
why?
discover when you're doing it. I'd love to get feedback on what happens out of it. And on my website, there's the calendar workshop. I mean, it's like $19. It's not like, so it's like I have
Yeah,
very low, I got free and I got, higher tier stuff. But the calendar thing, just that one practice, even without doing the whole workshop, I think will make a huge difference in how you experience your day.
beautiful, beautiful experience. It make a huge impact when you start realizing something. So the whole life change. I read in a book that you start to smell flowers and see the colors of the colors of their people eyes. So what was the right quote? But you start to notice the details of
Mm,
what's going on when you spread your awareness and you're more present in the now and not just following the time.
yeah, getting through life.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jesse. Very, very appreciate your time. That was amazing. I loved it, and I can't wait to talk to you about it again.
I'm thrilled and hopefully we'll speak again. Let me know anytime.
Beautiful.